It is impossible to truly know God without knowing Jesus. It is the revelation of Jesus Christ that unveils the true nature, the true character, and the true will of God to humanity. John chapter 1 verse 18, Jesus said, "No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, hath declared him." The word declared there is the Greek word exekomai. It is where we get the word exegesis. It means to bring out in the open, to explain, and to make fully known. Meaning, before the coming of Jesus, God was not fully known. In fact, the Bible tells us that the Old Testament was a shadow of good things to come. The people in the Old Testament only related with shadows of good things to come. We cannot know God fully using the Old Testament alone. Even if we are to use the Old Testament to know God, we still need the revelation of Christ to explain the Old Testament, because it is Jesus who unfolds and reveals the truth concerning God. It is Jesus who explains and interprets God clearly. It is Jesus who narrates and gives the full account of God to us. It is Jesus who describes God in detail. And it is only Jesus who can bring out the hidden things that concern God. He came to perfectly unfold God's heart, his nature, and character to humanity. Hebrews chapter 1 verse 1, it says, "God who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in the past times unto our fathers through the prophets, he has in these last days spoken unto us by his Son." Jesus is not another partial explanation of God. Jesus is not another fragment in the explanation of God. Jesus is the full and final revelation of God. You cannot know God outside Christ. God's ultimate speech to humanity is through his Son only, not through fragmented messages anymore, as it was in the Old Testament. If you want to know God, look at Jesus. Hebrews chapter 1 verse 3, it says, "He is the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person." Jesus is the shining forth of God's own glory. He does not just reflect the glory of God as the moon reflects the light of the sun. No, he is the very outshining of the light as the sun produces its own light. Jesus is the light. Jesus is the exact imprint of God. He is the exact image of God. He brings the invisible God into visibility. Jesus is the perfect display of God. Jesus is not just a messenger from God. He is God himself in the flesh. And so if you want to know God, we look at Jesus. What we don't see in Jesus cannot be found in God. What Jesus does not do, God does not do, he cannot do, and he has never done. But everything we see Jesus doing, that is the Father in action. That is the Father showing us his true nature, his true character, and his true will. We can only know God through Christ.